You are the most valuable investment you will ever make. Hi, I'm Zarina Poonawalla, your leadership coach, life coach, and emotional intelligence coach. You probably know me from the Empowering series, and this is my new show, the Life Manifesto with Zarina Poonawalla. I'm going to coach you to be the best version of yourselves. So get ready to create, attain, and manifest the life you've always desired and make it your reality. I was at this conference a little while ago, and there were some really distinguished people from various industries. The facilitator, she asked me, how do you think people should cope with severe stress, anxiety, depression, and even disorders, especially when people are running on hectic schedules on a daily basis? They don't even have the time to cope with it. And my answer was a little unconventional, but there it was anyway. I asked, how many of you have ever experienced any kind of childhood trauma? They were a little taken aback because it was neither the line of questioning nor the answer that they were expecting right. So I had to rephrase it then. How many of you have some experience or events from your childhood that may have left you hurt or scarred? After some hesitation, a few hands in the audience went up. Then a few more. Eventually, in a room full of very accomplished people, most hands were raised high. And I said, why are we dealing with the effects of your problems when the root cause has never been addressed, even acknowledged? And I shared this trivia that I'm going to share with you now. Liz Mulliner, founder of Heal for Life Foundations, shared some very startling statistics in her TED Talk. Now, did you know over roughly 80% adult depression stems from childhood trauma, and around 69.9% psychiatric patients have a history of childhood trauma? Can you imagine that? That includes disorders and substance abuse. Did you know that in the US alone, 1 in 7 children suffer from childhood trauma? And in India, 53% children reportedly suffer from abuse. For a moment, it was like I had addressed the elephant in the room, But in no time, everyone surprisingly got extremely involved. And they started asking questions about how to heal, what to do about it, how to understand this better, how to get rid of some feelings that haunt them. It just changed the course of our conversation that evening. And it turned out to be one of the most heartfelt, deep, intense conversations of my life, truly. And quite naturally, my next thoughts were to bring this conversation to the Life Manifesto and discuss it with all of you. Have you ever experienced anything devastating, painful, something that happened in your childhood? Did you ever go through any kind of trauma? Do you know the feeling it gives you? But you don't really know what it was. You don't have a clear memory of it. As a matter of fact, I already know the answer to this. For most of you, us actually, the answer is yes. Trauma doesn't crop from necessarily physical or sexual abuse. Most people are under the impression that is where it crops from, right? It could be. But it could also be body shaming, constantly being compared to your siblings, classmates. It could be you having to choose between your parents through an ugly divorce. Growing up watching domestic abuse. But often, these things are dismissed as though they never happened and it was meant to be okay. It's no big deal because every house goes through these things, right? You aren't alone, so no need to make a big deal about it. Don't make yourself sound so special or so victimized. If it's not physical abuse or sexual abuse, it's not abuse. That's how we've grown up. Adverse childhood experiences are traumatic events that occur in your life before you reach adulthood, and they could leave you scarred for life. Now, here are 10 ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, under which traumatic childhood experiences may happen. Physical abuse, verbal abuse, sexual abuse, physical neglect, emotional neglect, alcoholic parents or maybe a parent, victim of domestic abuse, either yourself or maybe your parent, a family member or members with mental illnesses, the disappearance of a parent, abandonment, divorce, even death, a family member in prison or jail. These are the possible 10 ACEs under which any person, any child can go through childhood trauma. People often dismiss their childhood traumas by simply saying it's okay. We've all been through it. Like I said, no big deal, right? In fact, parents dismiss it the most. You may even hear things like, we did our best and you are only focusing on what didn't work out for you. How selfish are you? Now, can you imagine, as adults, as grown-ups, we are finding ways to deal with our stress, anxiety, bottled up emotions, conflicting relationships, abuse and trauma. Now you've grown up, right? You have a voice, a mind of your own, and you can seek help. But what about you as a child? As kids, you are always assumed to be okay. If they are playing, they are happy. If they have friends and they behave right, they look okay, then everything is okay. So there's nothing to address. Nothing bothers them. They are too young to feel it. They're too young to hurt. But those little kids are eventually going to become adults who still struggle and make sure to let you know that they are still okay. And what happens then is spillage. Spillage of those feelings that you couldn't understand, couldn't express. And even if you did, you were dismissed because you were a child. And it eventually leaves you easily disassociated and dysfunctional in one or more areas of your life. Those repressed memories, they separate you from your experiences, and you try coping mechanisms for yourself. But you just carry on with life anyway. Those repressed memories, they eventually separate you from your experiences to create a coping mechanism for you. And then you just carry on with life anyway. Has this happened to you too? Do you feel an unexplainable, invisible burden that you carry around and never talk about? Think about it. Reflect on your life. And while you ponder, stay tuned for the next episode of the Life Manifesto, where I'm going to share signs with you. Signs that you probably haven't healed from your childhood trauma. So my precious people, if you enjoy listening to the Life Manifesto and manifesting your life and achieving your dreams, please go ahead and like and rate our podcast. You can also click on the notification bell to get to know as soon as our latest episode drops. Do subscribe to the Life Manifesto. It's going to help us go a long way and also reach out to like-minded people who want to truly manifest their lives and live the best version of themselves. Meanwhile, do what you love and do it often. And if you don't like something, go right ahead and change it. The power is within you. Thank you for tuning in to the Life Manifesto with me, Zarina. If you find this show useful, then please share it with your friends, family, and co-workers. You never know. You may just help someone become the best version of themselves. And if you want to align your life with some signature masterclasses, certification courses, and live sessions with me, go check out and download my app, Life Manifesto with Zarina Poonawalla, available on Play Store or Apple Store. And if you have any suggestions or anything that you would like to share with me, get in touch with me on my social media handles. I am at Zarina Poonawalla on Instagram and LinkedIn, and at Zarina Speaks on Twitter. See you in the next episode.